So that truth has brought us up to this point. Let us see now how far it can go for. This is the glorious part of Savitri, the divine boon in all its plenty and happiness. What we call in Marathi or in Sanskrit literature, when the scripture is read, any religious scripture is read, at the end of it, there is a description of the fruit offered by the scripture. Phala Shruti. Phala Shruti. So this is the Phala Shruti of Savitri we are seeing now here. You see, the boon, the fruit, the reward, the prize, whatever you want to call it, of having gone through the entire scripture. See. We had done this thing, but let's go back to those two earlier sentences. Some shall be made glorious receptacles and vehicles to the eternal's luminous power. These are the high forerunners, the heads of time, the great deliverers of earthbound mind, the high transfigurers of human clay, the firstborn of a new supernal race. The incarnate dual power shall open God's door. Eternal supermind touch earthly time. The Superman shall wake in mortal man and manifest the hidden demigod, or grow into the God light and God force, revealing the secret deity in the cave. There are many things which are unsaid in this description, and we can kind of only surmise what all that is really, what the point he is making here. But we have also some hint of what is being said here available in the prose writings of Sri Aurobindo. I have already sent you the notes about the life divine. He is speaking of the Gnostic being and the divine life, how it will happen, and all those things. Those two chapters of the life divine, the last two chapters of the life divine, were written around 1940. After the accident, when Sri Aurobindo started working, the first thing which he had taken up was the revision of the life divine, 39-40. The press was after him to send manuscripts for publication, the Arya Publication House in Calcutta, and he had taken up the revision of the life divine. The life divine as it existed in the Arya, those two chapters, around 1921, last two chapters. He had picked up again those two and expanded them enormously. And we have practically a kind of a book based only on those two chapters, you see, of the possibilities of the life divine appearing upon earth and certain aspects of the life divine which he foresaw at that time. But after 1940, after writing those two chapters, Yoga Tapasya grew and grew and grew in greater intensity and greater depth, and even in a kind of a greater precision. The general vision, the general intuition of things was there, but the details of how things are going to happen, they had to be occult yogically worked out. And it is that occult yogic work which was being done after the vision was enunciated in the Life Divine. So after Life Divine's revision, his main concentration was on Savitri. In fact, part 1 of Savitri, practically half of Savitri, is what he had concentrated on for the next 3 or 4 years till 1944, roughly, when the broad general draft of part 1 was ready, completely, 1944 roughly, Then later on, the other books started being written. So this particular book, the Book of the Everlasting Day, came much later, around 1948, if not a little later than that. And what we have here is the status report of what was happening at that time in Savitri. But in 1949, the mother had started the school and she had proposed to bring out the Bulletin of Physical Education in 1949, starting from February 1949. And obviously, she approached Sri Aurobindo to contribute articles for the bulletin. In those 2 years, 1949, 1950, February, April, August, November 1949, 4 issues, and again February, April, August, November 1950, 4 issues. In those 8 articles, he had taken up something which he had not, so to say, revealed or written down explicitly in great details at all. So I will say that those prose writings also come more or less after what we have here in Savitri, in the Book of Everlasting Day. So certain details which are not kind of available here can be gleaned from those prose writings of Sri Aurobindo. Those 4 writings, those 8 essays, they have come out in the form of the supramental manifestation, Sri Aurobindo's 8 essays, you see. There, he speaks of the intermediate race. Of course, he speaks of the physical transformation and the divine body, but he speaks of the intermediate race. The intermediate race governed by the mind of light. Intermediate race governed by the mind of light. Now, this intermediate race, he had never spoken of it earlier, nor do we have all those details which really belong to the mind of light. Mind of light is, of course, a part of the supermind, but not full supermind. It is the supermind in the physical. And what Sri Aurobindo calls the mind of light is, the mother has kind of explained by saying that it is the physical's mind which is opening to the supramental light and force. It is not a physical mind, but the physical's mind, the mind of the body, mind of the physical, opening to the supramental light and force is what he calls as a mind of light. Now, so what we have here is the prognostications which are made, the vision which was given in the Life Divine about the new race, supramental race, the Gnostic being, had to be worked out in its working details. And one of the first working details was to create, I will say really, to create this mind of light. And the race governed by this mind of light is what he calls as the intermediate race. He uses the phrase there, the new humanity. The new humanity governed by the mind of light. The mother translates this in French by calling it Surhomme, overman, Surhomme. When this Surhomme is first fully established in its working modalities, in the process of evolution, then there could be the beginning of the true Gnostic being, the true Superman, the supramental being. So, what we have here, some shall be made glorious receptacles and vehicles to the eternal luminous power. These are the high forerunners, the heads of time, the great deliverers of earthbound mind, the high transfigurers of human clay, the firstborn of a new supernal race. So this is the description of the intermediate race. That is how I will read it, basically. This is the description of the intermediate race. High forerunners, deliverers of the earthbound mind, transfigurers of human clay, firstborn of a new supernal race. Now when this race, this new supernal race, when these firstborn have fully established themselves, grown here fully, then the true Superman shall appear. These are the high forerunners, the heads of time. See, he says heads of time. You see, they are still in the process of human time, evolution. The great deliverers of earthbound mind, the high transfigurers of human clay. Transfigurers. Still, he's not talking about transformation, of physical transformation, which comes much later. The firstborn of a new supernal race. So what we can say is that this is the description until now, up to this point, of what he has been talking, of the intermediate race. Now, there is a further movement. The incarnate dual power shall open God's door, eternal supermind, touch earthly time. Now, this is the futuristic. After the firstborn human race, has come into existence here, then there could be the beginning of the supernal race, and then the dual power, Satyavan and Savitri. Dual power, Satyavan and Savitri. The power to bring down God upon earth, the power to lift earth to God. That's the dual power. Bring down God upon earth, one aspect, to lift earth to God. The dual power, their coming together, is perfectly symbolized in Sri Aurobindo symbol, triangle, the descending triangle and the ascending triangle. And they are coming together and meeting and forming a square, a perfect manifestation. That is what the dual power really means. In fact, that is the full significance of Sri Aurobindo's symbol. With the avatar, with the divine himself present in this creation. The incarnate dual power shall open God's door, eternal supermind, touch earthly time. When this firstborn has appeared, the Superman shall wake in mortal man. Now, there is a little confusion, at least in our way of understanding. Superman could mean someone belonging to the intermediate race. someone belonging to the Superman proper, that is supramental race, that is the Gnostic being. The true Superman is one who belongs to the Gnostic being. The true Superman, the one who belongs to the Gnostic being, Gnostic race. So this Superman need not necessarily mean yet the Gnostic being, shall wake in mortal man and manifest the hidden demigod because of the dual power working here. The Superman shall wake in mortal man and manifest the hidden demigod, or grow into God light and God force, revealing the secret deity in the cave. So, either he will wake or he will grow. He will wake in mortal man or he will grow in mortal man and reveal. Yeah. Now, my clever puzzle is how come the Supreme Himself not sure what is going to happen? Why this or for Him? He should say, this will happen or this will happen. Why is He keeping hanging? Why is He keeping hanging? But then He let Him say so. Yeah.
One part is doing this, the other part is doing that.
Yeah, well, actually, what you say is true. In fact, that way, this or has to be understood in a different sense. It is not an alternative. If both are going to happen, then this versus this, they are not alternatives. That he shall wake or he shall grow. It is not or. You see, it is not an alternative for waking or of growing. If both have to happen. I think this or, the knowledge of this or is purposely held back. The knowledge of this or, what is going to happen, whether he is going to wake or whether he is to grow, that knowledge is held back. That knowledge is not given fully yet, you see. Not that he is not certain in his mind, but the knowledge of it is given back. Why it is held back? Because it is nature, the process of evolution, of bringing out this possibility which has to be worked out through the process of nature. He is not going to impose upon nature or upon anybody else at all. If you respond, if this happens, if that happens, if you are receptive to all those things, then there you are. Now that depends upon how you are going to respond to those possibilities, and therefore he is holding back that knowledge. Or you have to prepare yourself. Who is going to prepare yourself for that? Again, poor Savitri. She has to prepare nature or whatever it is. She has to work here all those things. Through your many human births, she has to prepare. He said earlier, through many human lives, you have to prepare the whole thing. How you prepare, how things happen, it is that which is going to determine these two things. And the mother says also in the agenda, in her diary notes, that knowledge is not given. That knowledge is not given. What is going to happen? She says that knowledge is not given. Why it is not given? Because things have to work themselves out. He is not going to impose upon you. You have to open out more and more to the divine possibilities. And the divine possibilities will show then what is going to happen. You see. So in other words, the entire thrust is that it should happen from below, not from above, pushed down below. You see. The Superman shall wake in mortal man and manifest. See, Superman shall wake in mortal man. This Superman shall wake in mortal man is not this forerunner. Shall wake in mortal man and manifest the hidden demigod, or grow into God light and God force, revealing the secret deity in the cave. You have to build up within yourself the inner being. Unless that inner being is built in God light and God force, nothing can happen. New man cannot come here unless you first create him in the subliminal, very close to your soul. The way the mental being was created within, in the same manner, the supramental, the Gnostic being has to be first built within. Then only he can come and manifest. So, grow into God light and God force, revealing the secret deity. In other words, it is the psychic being which will then manifest through that personality which has been established in the inner in the inner world, you see, within us, you see. That is necessary. So it is that within which has to happen. It can be imposed also from above, but that is not going to help much. You see. The Superman shall wake in mortal man and manifest. See, in other words, what is going to happen in time, whether this will happen or this will happen, that has been held back from the process of time. Yet, time has to work out. In any case, whether it happens this way or it happens this way, when it happens, then shall the earth be touched by the Supreme. Whether you grow within or whether you wake, it wakes in you, whether it is waking or whether it is growing. That is in a way immaterial. But when one of these things do happen, then shall the earth be touched by the Supreme. His bright unveiled transcendence shall illumine the mind and heart and force the life and act to interpret his inexpressible mystery, a heavenly alphabet of divinity's signs. See, then shall, see, when one of these things has happened, then shall, this is important, then shall the earth be touched by the Supreme, etc., etc. And what will happen? To interpret his inexpressible mystery in a heavenly alphabet, characters, the rudiments, the elements, the basic things, the alphabet of divine life, the essentials, in a heavenly alphabet. So it is the beginning of the appearance of divinity. These are the signs, divinity is sign. So alphabets are the divinity signs. Means it is the initial process by which things will start happening, touched by the Supreme, unveiled transcendental illumine. The book will start opening out and then you can read. So this is the beginning. You have just started learning the ABC of things. You see, with that, you see, this is what it means, you see. The ABC of things, alpha, beta. A heavenly alphabet or divinity's signs. His living cosmic spirit shall annulling the decree of death and pain, erasing the formulas of the ignorant with the deep meaning of beauty and life's hidden sun. The being ready for immortality, his regard crossing infinity's mystic wave, bring back to nature her early joy to live, the metered heartbeats of a lost delight, the cry of forgotten ecstasy, the dance to the first world creating bliss. The dance to the first world creating bliss. The bliss which was there at the moment of creation of this world. When it kind of burst out and the joy with which it spoke out, came out, it is that joy which will be repeated kind of thing in this unfolding now. Then shall, you see, this is then, no? So this is also a part of the thing. See, first he says here, then shall the earth be touched by the Supreme. Same way, then shall the living cosmic spirit enring the being ready for immortality. Then shall the living cosmic spirit enring the being ready for immortality. That is how he is elaborating now how this touch is going to develop, appear. Then his living cosmic spirit enring the being ready for immortality. And of course, there are further details. His regard crossing infinity's mystic waves, bring back to nature her early joy to live, the metered heartbeats of a lost delight, the delight which was lost in the whole process, it will come back, you see. The cry of a forgotten ecstasy, the ecstasy which was there, out of which it has come, but in the whole process of evolution and evolution so far, it was forgotten, it will be recouped, it will be recaptured, it will be regained, you see. And it will be the dance of the first world creating bliss, you see. Then the immanent shall be the witness God. When that happens, the immanent, who is very close to us, who is living us within us, immanent, it is his substance, it is of his substance that we are made. It is of his substance that we are made. Immanent. He is very close, closest to us. That is why immanent is him. Shall be the witness God. Well, actually, I got a small quotation from the synthesis. Even our mortal existence is made out of his substance. Even our physical gross, which is subject to death and pain and suffering, even that is made of his substance. And there is the immortal within us. Obviously, the psychic being is there. Within us, that is the spark of the light and bliss that are forever to realize it, make it effective. To realize that immortal which is within us, to realize it, make it effective, is the object of yoga. First, we have to realize that the immortal is there within us, we have to realize him, of yoga. The psychic being is constantly in contact with the immanent. The divine who is there, very close to us, the psychic being is directly in contact with him. So, the first thing is, nothing can happen unless you discover psychic being and live with the psychic being, in the psychic being. The immanent shall be the witness God, watching on his many-petaled lotus throne, the cosmic manifestation, the universality of things, the overmind creation which is there, many-petaled, in fact later on we got 1,000-pillared, these are the symbolic representations of the overmind creation of multiplicity. Watching on his many-petaled lotus throne, his actionless being and his silent mind. He is silent, he is actionless, he is immanent. Ruling earth nature by eternity's law, a thinker waking the inconscious world, an immobile center of many infinitudes, in a 1,000-pillared temple by time to see. That is your mind creation, which is creation. The immanent shall be the witness God. It is he who will see. You see, there is a difference between immanent and God. You see, immanent is also God, but still not God, you see. God is supreme, more than the immanent in that sense. Watching on his many-petaled lotus throne, his actionless being and his silent mind, ruling earth nature by eternity's law, a thinker waking in conscience world, an immobile center of many infinitudes in his 1,000-pillared temple by time to the 1,000-pillared. 1,000, that is the symbol of our mind, multiplicity. 1,000-petaled lotus, Sahasradala, at the crown of the chakra, at the crown here. That is the 1,000-petaled lotus here, Sahasradala. That is our mind creation basically. See, in the Upanishad, Katha Upanishad, young boy, Nachiketa, he has been given to death Yama. Go and live with him. And he stays, Yama was out of station, he had gone out somewhere. So the poor boy had to wait at the door for 3 nights for the arrival of Yama back home. And then he asked, "What are you here for?" Yama asked this boy. He said, "I want the knowledge of the self from you. You are the best teacher, and it is you who can give me the knowledge of the self." Yama first dissuades him. He says, "Young boy, I will give you all the boons of life. Go back home and enjoy full, rich life with children, with girls, with everybody, whatever you like, and go back and stay there." You see. Yama says, "That's not mine. I want the knowledge of the self, not that kind of a thing." Still, Yama is not convinced, so to say. He's kind of testing him. And then he says, "I want the knowledge of the self." And he takes a 1,000-beaded necklace from his neck and gives it to him. A necklace with 1,000 beads. 1,000. He gives him the full knowledge of the over-mind creation to this boy. So that 1,000 is there, symbolic again of the multiplicity of this creation, you see. But then this boy says, "I'm not interested in your necklace. You can take it back if you like." I want the knowledge of the self. What is it that by which man is dead or he is not dead? How do I know that? You see. He wants that thing. So this is the aspect of the immanent in the 1,000-pillared house, you see. Then shall the embodied being live as one. See, again he is repeating, then, you see. Then shall the embodied being live as one who is a thought, a will with the divine, a mask or probe of his divinity, an instrument and partner of his force, a point or line drawn in the infinite, manifest or imperishable. Then shall the embodied being live as one. Here, the embodied being shall be witness God. The embodied being shall entering, being ready to immortality. Then shall the embodied being live as one, who is a thought, a will of the divine, a mask or robe of his divinity, an instrument and partner of his soul, a point or line drawn in the infinite, a manifest of the imperishable. Again, then shall the supermind be his nature's fount. See, that then sort of continues. Then the supermind shall be his nature's found. The eternal truth shall mold his thoughts and acts. The eternal truth shall be his light and guide. Now, this is, I will say, a kind of a proper description of the Gnostic being. Earlier, it was of the intermediate race, you see. Then the supermind shall be his nature's found. The eternal truth shall mold his thought and act. The eternal truth shall be his light and guide. All then shall change. A magic order come, overtopping his mechanical universe. So, see, after all that, then, what will happen? A magic order will come. And then a mightier race shall inhabit mortal's world. So after that intermediate race will come a mightier race. A mighty race will come after that, you see. The mortal's world, the Mrityu Loka, mortal world, that is called Mrityu Loka. On nature's luminous tops, on the spirit's ground, the Superman shall reign as king of life, make earth almost a mate and fear of heaven, and lead towards God and truth man's ignorant heart, and lift towards Godhead his mortality. So he is elaborating now further step by step. Then, again, you see again that then continues. Then nature's luminous tops on spirit's ground, the Superman shall reign as the king of life. He will be the sovereign of life. And then he says very carefully, then make earth almost the mate. Not the full mate, almost. He is cautious, he is careful. The mate and fear of heaven. It cannot be complete, it cannot be fully. Almost is there. Because there has to be a kind of a separateness of earth from heaven. See, they are not one. For continuous growth of earth, they have to be almost equal. See, almost. And earth almost the mate and pure of heaven, and lead towards God and truth man's ignorant heart, and lift towards Godhead the mortality. Again, then a power release from circumscribing bound, his heights pushed up beyond death's hungry reach, life's tops shall flame with the immortal storm, light shall invade the darkness of its base. Well, this will happen only when there is the appearance of a mightier race. That is important, mightier race. The mother says, the light has come, but light is not enough. In order to bring down other higher power, what is required first is the force. The supramental light and force descended on 29th February 1950. Force is important because unless that is there, the higher things cannot function, so to say. Against the opposing possibility, against opposition, the hostilities which can spring up from below, what is required is strength, force. Power released from circumscribing bound. You see again that power is there because that might. A height pushed up beyond death's hungry reach. That hungry reach is always there, and therefore what is required is to resist that hungry reach, a power which can stop the hungry. Light stops shall flame with the immortal storm. Light shall invade the darkness of its base. Then, in the process of evolving time, all shall be drawn into a single plan. A divine harmony shall be earth's law. Beauty and joy remote her way to live. Even the body shall remember God. Nature shall draw back from mortality, and spirit's fires shall guide the earth's blind foes. Knowledge shall bring into the aspirant thought a high proximity of truth and God. So all those great things will start happening with that. Then in the process of, but of course, in the process of evolving time, it is not a sudden outburst. They have to again grow gradually in a process of evolution. Then, in the process of evolving time, all shall be drawn into a single plan, a divine plan. A divine harmony shall be earth's law. It is not presently that law of earth. Harmony is not the law of earth at the moment, you see. Beauty and joy, harmony, beauty, joy, they are absent presently. Beauty and joy remote her way to live. Even the body shall remember God. Even the body, of course, that is the most important thing, shall remember God. Today, our body does not remember God at all, does not even know God. So, there is no question of remembering. Nature shall draw back from mortality, and spirit's fire shall guide the earth's blind foes. Knowledge shall bring into the spirit thought a high proximity to truth and God. The supermind shall claim the world for light and thrill with love of God the enamored heart, and place life's crown on nature's lifted head, and found life's reign on her shaking base. Yes, all those good things will keep on happening then, you see. Then supermind. You see again here, then supermind. All that then continues throughout. Then the supermind shall claim the world for light. When all those things happen, then it will happen. And thrill with love of God the enamored heart, and place life's crown on nature's lifted head, and found life's reign on her unshaking being. A greater truth than earth shall roofing earth, and shade sunlight in the roads of mind. A power infallible shall lead the thought, a seeing puissance govern life and act, in earthly hearts kindle the immortal fire. In earthly hearts kindle the immortal fire. That is what has to happen finally. It is the psychic being, immortal fire, which will be fully burning here. A seeing puissance, power, the divine Shakti, puissance, the divine Shakti. It is she who will act, who will govern life and all our action. Our will, our action will be governed by the divine Shakti, by the divine power, the puissance. Para Shakti. A soul shall wake the inconscious house. The mind shall be God's vision's tabernacle. The body, intuition's instrument, and life a channel for God's visible power. So he has described all the four things: soul, mind, life, body. Soul shall wake in the inconscious house. Mind shall be God vision's tabernacle. The body, intuition's instrument. Life, a channel for God's power. All those things will happen then. All earth shall be the Spirit's manifest home. All earth shall be the Spirit's manifest home. This is what is going to happen. One day all shall be here, her sweetness' home. That is what we have got in Book 3, Canto 2, the Adoration of the Divine Mother. Shall be her sweetness' home, here in the manifest home. 81.25. All here shall be one day her sweetness' home. All contraries prepare her harmony. Towards her, our knowledge climbs, our passion grows. In her miraculous rapture, we shall dwell. Her glass will turn to ecstasy, our pain. Our self shall be one self with all through her. Now, this is the experience of Ashwapati when he meets the Divine Mother, adoration of the Divine Mother. Now, it is that which is being kind of assured here. All shall be one day her sweetness' home. The earth shall be the Spirit's manifest home. What Ashwapati had prayed for, it is that which is getting now materialized here through the work of Savitri and the boon she receives from the Divine Himself. All earth shall be the Spirit's manifest home, hidden no more by the body and life, hidden no more by the mind signal. So it is body, our vital being, our physical being, our mental being, they hide the Spirit. There will be no more hiding now the Spirit. So all shall be, earth shall be the Spirit's manifest home, open. Means mind will open out, body will open out, life will open out. All earth shall be the Spirit's manifest home, hidden no more by the body and the life, hidden no more by the mind's ignorance. An unerring hand shall shape event and act. An unerring hand shall shape event and act. It means that it is not he himself who is going to do it. See, unerring hand, see the dual power, that aspect, that hand, the Supreme Himself through her. The Spirit's eyes shall look through nature's eyes. The Spirit's foes shall occupy nature's foes. This world shall be God's visible garden house. The earth shall be a field and camp of God. Man shall forget consent to mortality and his embodied frail impermanence. This universe shall unseal its occult sense. What for it is there, why things are happening, that is completely sealed from us, but that will be now opened out. This whole process of creation. Ignorance is there, fate is there, suffering is there, pain is there, death is there. There is an occult sense behind that. It is that which will be revealed. This universe shall unseal its occult sense. Creation's process change its antique front, and ignorant evolution's hierarchy release the wisdom chained below its base. So it is wisdom which is in the grip of ignorance here. It is that grip which will be given up. Satyavan is in the grip of death. That grip will be released. We are in the grip of mortality. That grip will go away. The universe shall unseal its occult sense. What is the occult sense finally? All right, it will be unsealed, okay, but what is the occult sense? What is the occult sense? The occult sense is all the divine possibilities which are present within us. It is they which will open out. They have to open out from within us. We are not aware of them. They are occult to us. Their way of working, how they have to come out, that is a process only by knowing the occult mechanism of that one could understand. So it is that occult sense which will come out. This universe shall unseal this occult sense. Creation's process change its antique front. So it will be no more now governed by the law of inconscience, of pain and suffering and death, but by the law of harmony, of power, light, love. Creation's process change its antique front, and ignorant evolutions, hierarchy, release the wisdom change below its base. The spirit shall be the master of his world, lurking no more in forms of obscurity, and nature shall reverse her actions rule. The outward world disclose the truth it veils. All things shall manifest the covered God. All shall reveal the Spirit's light and mind and move to its destiny of felicity. So ultimately the destiny is the destiny of felicity. It is towards that felicity of happiness, of joy, of ananda that things will move. They have to move. All shall reveal the Spirit's light and might, both. Knowledge and power, both together. All things shall manifest the cover to God. God is hidden. It will show itself. Every object, there is a presence. Whether you take a stone, whether you take a tree, whether you take an animal, whatever it is, there is something divine in it. It is that which will come out and fully express itself through it, through every object. Outward world disclose the truth it veils and move to its destiny of felicity. Even should the hostile force cling to its reign, now he is not ruling out completely the presence of the hostile force because the inconscience is there. While the race, human race, the Superman race, or higher race is there, but at the back, at the basis, there is that thing also. It can spring up, you see. Even should a hostile force cling to its reign and claim its rights, perpetual sovereignty, and man refuse his high spiritual fate, yet shall the secret truth in things prevail. That shall always happen. The secret truth in things prevail. The truth which is there in the hostile force, the divine truth which is there behind the hostile force, it is that which will reveal. It is not there for nothing. The purpose of it will be fully revealed. The truth which is there behind its hostility, behind its presence, it is that which will be revealed. Why there is death? The purpose of death will be revealed. Why there is ignorance? The purpose of ignorance will be revealed. Pain, suffering, falsehood, all those things will be revealed. Even should a hostile force cling to its reign and claim its rights, perpetual sovereignty, and man refuse his high spiritual fate, yet shall the secret truth in things prevail. For in a march of all fulfilling time, the hour must come to the transcendence will. All turns and winds towards his predestined end in nature's fixed inevitable course, decreed since the beginning of the world. Decrees the beginning of the world. This is why the whole process has started. The fact that there is evolution, it means that in the whole sequence, it is decreed that there will be a divine manifestation. We are gone like this, whatever it is. But behind that thing is the purpose of the divine manifestation to come out. Decreed since the beginning of the world in the deep essence of created thing. So in everybody's bosom, in the depths of his soul, there is the divine truth which is trying to come out and express itself. It is that which will be revealed always in. The tiger, the divine in the tiger has to come out in the tigerness of divine, of man, of animal, of diamond, of jewels, of whatever it is, of stars, of night, of pain. In the deep essence of created thing, even there shall come as a high crown of all the end of death, the death of ignorance, the end of death. The moment you have got the end of death, obviously along with that, there is the death of ignorance. The moment death disappears, then there is no more ignorance. Even there shall come as high a crown of all. This is the high crown of all. the end of death. That is the high crown of all. You see. The end of death. The moment death disappears, falsehood disappears. As long as there is death, there will be falsehood. In other words, there will be no truth. So the end of death means the disappearance of falsehood, of pain, of suffering, of ignorance. So this is, in fact, the end of death. The moment you say the end of death, this part is superfluous. It is understood. The moment the death ends, there is no more ignorance.
But is this then only for the few which are on that plane, on that height, or is it for all Earth?
For all.
For all.
For all who are ready.
Yeah, who are ready. But there may be many people who are not ready, and then for them, ignorance.
It will have its own function, its own purpose. Yeah.
So it means that ignorance is still there.
Yeah,
For some who are there, ignorance does not exist. They're not living ignorance.
You see, it means that they are still subject to that process of evolutionary growth.
Yeah, so it will all exist simultaneously.
No, they are in the march of all fulfilling time. So, in the process of time, if you are not ready, you have to undergo through that process. But those who are ready, for them there is no death at all. There is no ignorance. You see,
That's right. But for many others, who are not
they
ready,
have to undergo through the whole process of evolution.
but it will take millions of years.
See, at that time, what is going to happen is, suppose you are ready, you have become a supramental being. Now, what happens to me? I am not a supramental being still. But then you can help me. You can help me to lift up. I am trying. Your own way of doing things could be such that I derive help from you. In a very crude way of saying, there is an urge to grow everywhere, but it is not coming out fully. You have a pet. When the pet comes in contact with the human being, a true human being, what does it gain? The psychic touch starts coming out from the pet itself. Its response becomes more and more psychic. It is indirectly getting help from man. So you can become a pet to the Superman.
Yeah, okay, but then the pet may evolve, but then there will be more animals.
But then in that process, what happens? The next birth, you jump over and go to the higher level.
Okay, that's right, but we don't abolish that part of evolution. There will always be animals. There will always be mankind. So there will always be ignorance. There will always be falsehood and death in that layer.
You see, what you have in the beginning, Seven were described in certain details, those things. What you will have in the beginning will be pockets, colonies of this kind of beings.
Yes, that I fully understand, exactly.
Yeah.
But then
No.
as such,
But then it is in the process of growth, things will happen. If they are required, if they are open to it, if it is necessary for them to continue, they will be retained. Otherwise, it will get dissolved, it will disappear.
yeah, but animals also have to die.
It will
Animals are
disappear.
not there for eternity.
If-
they
if-
cannot live immortally. Animals are not meant to be immortal.
How do you say that?
Exactly.
No, you see, if their psychic being can come out by contact with you,
No,
then they are growing.
yes.
That is the purpose.
That's fine, but still animals will be there. Otherwise, we have no animals. Because an animal cannot live immortally.
Yeah, but then you see, because this is in the process of time, in the march of time, this is happening. Now, when the supramental beings have formed a kind of a colony here, then by contagion, by their influence, by their presence, it can spread and grow around. You see. It can quicken the process also. It can quicken the process also, you see. Those who cannot grow, who will not grow, then they will disappear, as the dinosaurs disappeared.
But then what happens to, let's say, animals?
They will disappear.
Animals disappear. No
Yeah.
more animals.
The dinosaurs, they have disappeared. All those old creatures have disappeared. They are not anymore required for the process of evolution, so they have stepped out. They are gone, disappeared.
So no more animals.
Yeah.
Oh. No more dogs and horses. No more peacocks.
Well, you see, it's not all that hopeless. It's not all that hopeless. Basically, what it means is that there is a possibility of your opening. There is a constant urge within you that is very weak. That weakness will be to some extent reduced, redeemed by the presence of the superior being here. By his influence, by his activities here, it will be reduced to some extent. You see. Like the help the young child gets from the elders. He grows because of them, you see. In a way you are saying. But the end of death for whom? Those who are ready.
Not the end of death
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah. They will disappear. What is not required, that will disappear. Yeah. But here the whole process is, you see, when the mental being has appeared on the evolutionary scene, it does not mean that the vital being has disappeared. It does not mean that the physical being has disappeared. By his appearance, they have also changed, they have also grown. The same thing will happen in the other case. If for the process of evolution a supporting evolutionary base is required, they will be retained and lifted up. The end of death, the death of ignorance. For this high change, the end of death, for this high change. See, we have seen earlier, Savitri is confronting death. And she says, "Hail to thee, death. Be still, my instrument. I need you. Be present there. I still need you." This is what she was saying to him. But first, high truth must set her feet on a. For the end of death, what is required is truth must set her feet on earth, the divine truth. And man aspire to the eternal light. See, this is required. Man aspire to the eternal light, and all his members feel the Spirit's touch, and all his life obey an inner force. So there is a desideratum, there is a condition. You see. This too shall be, but then there is an assurance. Yes, man will aspire. This too shall be, for a new life shall come, a body of the superconscious truth, a native field of supernature's mites. It shall make us nation ground, truth's colony. You see, he uses the word colony. There you are. You see, truth's colony. It shall make us nation ground, truth's colony. A pocket is required, you see. Make even the ignorance a transparent robe through which shall shine the brilliant limbs of truth, and truth shall be a sun on nature's head, and truth shall be the guide of nature's step, and truth shall gaze out of the nether deeps. This too shall be, that is required. If man aspires to eternal light, his members feel Spirit's touch, his life obeys the inner force. These two shall be because of all this. When Superman is born, so at that point there is the hope of the Superman being born. When Superman is born as nature's king, his presence shall transfigure matter's world. He shall light up to spire in nature's night. He shall lay upon earth truth's greater law. Man too shall turn to the Spirit's call. See, there you are. When Superman is born, man too shall turn toward the Spirit's call. That is the help he is giving you directly, you see. When Superman is born as nature's king, man too shall turn toward the Spirit's call. Awake to his hidden possibility, he is man's. Awake to his hidden possibility, awake to all that slept within his heart, and all that nature meant when earth was formed, and the Spirit made this ignorant world his home. He shall aspire to truth and God and bliss. He shall aspire to truth and God and bliss. So that is a great hope for man. This is a great hope for man when Superman is born. He shall aspire to truth and God and bliss. Interpreter of a diviner law, an instrument of supreme design, the higher kind shall lean to lift up man. So this is the role which is played by the higher kind, by Superman. He is the interpreter of a diviner law, the instrument of a supreme design. He shall lean to lift up man. So there is a kind of a double play of Superman trying to lift him up, of man aspiring beyond what he is. Man shall desire to climb to his own heights. The truth above shall wake in neither truth. So that is the summary of the whole thing. When Superman is born, the truth above shall wake in neither truth. Even the dumb earth becomes the sentient force. So there is a great hope. So first thing is establish the colony of the Superman.
Even all will.
Yeah. Even the dumb earth becomes the sentient force. The Spirit stops and nature's base shall draw near to the secret of their separate birth and know each other as one deity. So Spirit and nature, which are of different nature, they will know the kind of a mutuality which is there between them. The Spirit stops and nature's base shall draw near to the secret of the separate truth. They are separate truth. The truth to grow, that is nature. Truth to manifest, that is the Spirit. And know each other as one deity. The Spirit shall look out through matter's gaze, and matter shall reveal the Spirit's face. So that's the completion of the whole story, you see. Then man and Superman shall be at one. So Superman should appear. Our hope, therefore, lies in the appearance of the Superman. It is he who will lift us up. Of course, meanwhile, we have to pray, we have to invoke the presence and all that. We have to aspire, that is required. But our hope is in the arrival of the Superman, you see, in that sense. If we cannot be the Superman, let us hope that he will arrive and lift us up, you see. then man and Superman shall be at one, and all the earth become a single life. Great assurance. So,
Rather sooner than later.
sooner or later, now, but she has to take many human births. For all that to happen, through your many human births, he has already said that, you see. Through your many human births. She might have already taken birth and she is already doing her work. We are not aware of it.